Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming back my good friend from high school, Ana Marie Urbieta, and we're going to do a dirty Christmas show. We're going to talk about Christmas, maybe talk about dirty stuff like we usually do, and it's going to be pretty cool. I'm so looking forward to it. I haven't talked to her in a while, and it's going to be pretty fucking cool. I'd like to say rest in peace, Steve Dash, who played Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 2. You know, the Klansman Jason, as I call it, because he was wearing a white sheet over his head in that one. Yeah, I met him last June at Sinister Creature Con in Sacramento. He was a great guy. I asked him if he wanted to be on the podcast back in October, and he turned me down, saying he doesn't do interviews, which I never heard him on a podcast, but I saw him do an interview at a convention on YouTube and what have you. But rest in peace, Steve Dash. He was quite a stuntman, I have to say. So, here is my new interview with Ana Marie Urbieta. Hey, what's up?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good. Just relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Up to anything for the holidays?
What about the holidays?
I said, are you up to anything for the holidays?
Just my godparents picking me up for dinner, which I'm not looking forward to. That's about it.
Uh-huh.
My mom's going to be in the Bay Area working, and she came down last weekend, and we went shopping and had some fun, but I'm going to be alone for the most part.
I see. Where's she working?
At Mass Tech in Union City.
Yep, I have no idea.
She's been there since.
Eddie?
She's been there since.
Sorry, go ahead.
She's been there since November of last year.
Okay. Cool. Good for her.
Yeah, that's the place I told you that she was at.
Yeah, so she's still living up in the Reading area, technically, and then working in Union City?
Yeah, she stays at my brother's in Fremont.
Uh-huh. And then, how often does she actually go to Reading?
Maybe once or twice a month, but we talk on the phone almost every day.
Got it. So you've been alone pretty often.
Since November of last year, yeah. It wasn't planned, it's just something that happened. I mean, had I known, maybe I wouldn't have moved up here, but I had to. I had to get the fuck out of that house I was in, that disabled house. I mean, there was a lot of crooked shit going on in there.
Yeah. I hear you.
Oh, did I tell you?
Maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
Huh? No, I was going to say, maybe there's like a happy medium in between as far as affordability. Like, right now Reading is pretty far out there, but, there's so much in between.
Well, I got some good news before I get to what I was about to tell you. My mom's having lunch with a boss of hers, and she's gonna pretty much beg him to transfer her to LA next year.
Awesome.
Yeah, since retirement is not going to be good for her next year, she's going to say, come on, transfer me to LA. I'll suck your dick if you do it,
Very nice. A woman's got to do what a woman's got to do.
Nah, I tease when I say the sucking dick part. But,
I
know. Okay, that night that I saw you back in September, when I was going to the Willy Wonka screening, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got back home that night, and I found out that the home that I lived in Daly City before I moved to the Redwood City one, they got busted for human trafficking.
That's pretty terrible. Like, how so?
Okay, so they owned many homes throughout the Bay Area, not just for disabled adults, but they also had like a children's daycare. And what they were doing was they were finding like people who came from like the Philippines who came to this country knowing nothing and having them work for them as slaves. And they had like loaded weapons all around them, even in front of the children. There was loaded weapons. They're children that were being taken care of, and they laundered so much money. It was like about, I want to say, $90 million that they laundered. And this took place in over 10 years. So it was year 6 when I was living under their roof. And now I never saw any of this going on because I was in the disabled adult house and none of that went on in there. But I just did not feel safe there.
It was a creepy vibe.
It was a very creepy vibe. I mean, I was living in a house with a guy who like asked me if I'd ever been with another guy before, who was like just mentally unstable and stuff. It was just a really creepy feeling, and I was there almost 3 months, and it was pretty bad.
What was creepy? It was creepy that a man would ask you if you've been with a guy before?
It was creepy because just the context of hey, I'm moving in here and everything, and stuff. And then he's just like asking me that, like, that's just like, I wouldn't have minded if he asked me if he had waited a while, but not like when the first day I'm moving in there, So
note to self, don't ask someone, or any really sexual questions on intake day.
Yeah, I mean, even I have my limits.
Okay, but day 2, is that okay?
No, I mean, if he wait just a while, like, a month or so or something, I just want to feel safe. I want to feel welcomed,
Yeah, I'm sort of kidding, but yeah, I guess like when it's a environment that you're moving into, it's not the same as like meeting somebody randomly at a bar and being forward.
No, it wasn't like that at all. And oh my God, it was just a bad feeling being in there, and I felt so violated when I saw this news report and finding all of this out. And the thing that really sent a chill through my blood, the guy who owned the place that I had a quote unquote interview with to move in there and stuff, he also got charged with 3 counts of rape.
Rape of who?
One of the slaves that were in the children's daycare.
So he raped one of the slaves on three occasions.
Yes.
Got it. And how old was this girl?
I have no idea.
I assumed it was a girl. I guess it could have been a boy as well.
I don't know any of that. They just said that he was charged with 3 counts of rape on an employee, and that was all that said. And that's just, oh my God, it's just creepy. I felt so violated, and I was pretty haunted by it for a while. But I was also haunted by the fact that, that Christmas of 2014, I was at home. I was at the home in Redwood City. After my mom and I, we went to go see a movie. We went to go see Night at the Museum 3, and we cried because Robin Williams' last movie. And
yeah, which movie was his last?
A Night at the Museum 3.
Oh, you just said that. I didn't catch that, and honestly, I didn't even associate him.
Yeah, he plays Teddy Roosevelt. He's in all three of them. And yeah, I was just haunted by that. I remember I met up with Elliot Holt that night to go get a beer, and he was basically trying to mooch off of me. So I said good night early, and then I went to the liquor store. I bought a 24-ounce beer, went back to the home, drank it. I was watching one of my favorite horror movies, Reanimator, and thinking to myself, Barbara Crampton, she lives in San Francisco. Wouldn't it be great to be friends with her? And then fucking 2 years later, I'm hanging out with her at the Alamo Draft House.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to think I almost died.
I was lucky to be a part of that.
Well, not that one, but...
oh, wait. Was that a different... Never mind.
That was Julie you met. Yeah. I'm talking about in 2016 when I was first at the Alamo, and I met Barbara at her movie premiere screening.
Got it.
Yeah, it was pretty weird, and just to think I almost died a month later.
Oh, so that was right before your accident.
Well, when that Christmas, before my accident, was when I was thinking, God, wouldn't it be great to be friends with her? And then 2 years later, I'm at the premiere. Yeah.
So, wait, so it was right before your accident, so you're still drinking at the time?
I was drinking in 2014, yeah.
Alamo Draft House has been around longer than I guess they realized.
Yeah, it was there in 2016 is when I went to that premiere. That was 2 years later.
Got it.
What are your plans for Christmas?
I don't know that I have plans yet. I mean, maybe stay at home. I don't know. I haven't really figured anything out. I work the day after and the day before, so even though I'm getting the day off, I'm not sure that I want to do anything out of the ordinary.
You have plans for New Year's Eve?
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna hang out at home as well. Again, maybe have some people over for that, but nothing set in stone.
Yeah, me too. I'm working on a script.
A script for New Year's Eve?
No, a movie script.
So on New Year's Eve, you're planning on working on the script?
Oh yeah, well I plan on doing it every day until it's finished. So let's see how long it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And if I end up back in the Bay Area next year, I'm going to start a horror show, and I'm going to get some friends together and film a pilot.
Very good. So it's a horror show, I guess, based around?
It's just my character that I play on the podcast, Tommy Throwback Kovac, and just going to show public domain horror films and have a local celebrity guest, because I know so many now in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
And the humor is going to be very politically incorrect and very irreverent, because I'm tired of seeing the same old late-night horror show that you've seen a million times. That's G-rated family entertainment. I want to aim for the goth fanboys that I see at conventions.
Got it.
Because there's a market there.
Sex and guts. That's what you got to aim for.
Yeah, sexual innuendos.
Oh no, I meant sex and guts.
Well, all the public domain horror films are black and white and from the 50s and 60s. So I can only show those right now, and then if I can get on a major network in the future, I'll show the classic ones I grew up watching.
So you're really just premiering horror films that already exist.
Oh yeah, that's what they do.
It's a host. Well, you said a horror show, so I guess a little unclear on like what the show would be, because the show in itself, without hosting or premiering other films, could be a just that, a horror show.
Wait,
The production cost would be much different.
Well, what do you mean, though?
What do I mean? Well, I just thought when you were writing scripts that you would maybe actually write short stories, or I guess little blips that would be acted out. And
oh yeah, I do write scripts, and the show will be scripted, of course, because I'm going to be shooting segments. What I'm going to be doing is shooting segments and then inserting the film. And I got a friend that I started out, who used to be a comedian. I started out with him, and now he's an award-winning filmmaker, and he won first place at some festival. I'm going to have him be my director.
Got it. Okay. So good plans in place.
Yes. And I want you to be in the pilot.
What do I do?
Oh God, I came up with this really funny part where I'm rubbing a girl's shoulders in front of the guest, and she's really annoyed, and she clears her throat to signal it's time to stop, and then I have a really funny joke that I say to you.
So I'm that girl.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna have to see how that plays out, I suppose.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really funny, and we'll probably shoot it on a Saturday or something. I don't know, when, but if it happens, we'll do it. And we're gonna rent a space. There's this website. It's kind of like a Craigslist for sound stages and spaces to film stuff. It's called peerspace.com.
Yeah, I've heard of places like that. You can do dinners, events, meetings, lots of different things and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you can also do TV stuff too, your own TV stuff. And thank God I found it, because I didn't know where the hell we'd be able to do it. And let's see what happens there.
I guess we will.
Yeah. God, I would love to get laid on Christmas.
Good luck doing that up in Reading. Is that where you are?
Yes.
Yep, good luck doing that up in Reading. I mean, you'll be lucky if the girls have, all of her teeth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, it would be so great, though. She could, rub tinsel on my cock.
What the fuck?
Well, you got to get into the Christmas spirit, before it enters her canal.
That's just disturbing.
Ugh. Yeah, I ordered a couple things off of Amazon. Something that my mom's bought me, and a couple DVDs I get in for Christmas.
Are you a big Amazon user?
Yeah. Oh my God. Back in 2016, I was buying shit a lot off of Amazon, and I was like putting it on there where I can get it delivered like 2 days later. And unbeknownst to me, they signed me up for Amazon Prime, and they overdrew a shitload of money off of my debit card that 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 shouldn't have happened. And I go online.
You're saying, are you not an Amazon Prime member?
I'm not an Amazon Prime member. No, my mom is. She's got an account.
How do you get stuff shipped to you? You do the low and slow way?
Yes, yes,
Oh, it's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah. Well, it's for financial reasons. But what happened was they took all this money off my account, and I told my mom about it. Oh, she was pissed off at me. And then I was supposed to go to what was it? Not the Warfield. I was supposed to go to Warfield that weekend to see Andrew Dice Clay perform, and he canceled the gig, and so the money was refunded to me, and that saved the overdraw in like an hour's time, and I was so fucking happy because not only did it cover that, but I also had some money I could spend afterwards.
Ah, well, I mean, that's a good thing. I would question your decision. I mean, maybe you didn't have the money at the time, but so when you order from Amazon without the Amazon Prime membership,
Mm-hmm.
pay for shipping, correct?
Yes.
But when you pay for shipping and you order just a handful of times, that Prime membership is paid for because it's only $7 per year.
Ha. I see. Huh.
Is it 100 a year now? My cousin said it's 100 a year now.
It was at that.
I thought
It was at that time. Yes.
it was 70 at the time. Well, I don't remember anymore. I just say take my money and go fuck off. Actually, I realize a lot of times they don't even ship it in 2 days anymore. Like sometimes you get things relatively quickly, but sometimes you don't. Like there's no guarantees. Like it says 2 days, and then you order it, and it takes 4 or 5 days, or even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I will in the future. I don't know. But right now, I'm just gotta watch my budget right now. And plus, I got my trip to Monsterpalooza in April, so
I see it.
yeah, it's me and my mom going.
Very nice. Wait, so is Mom driving you?
Yes.
Well, that's cool. At least Mom's not gonna flake on you like that friend of yours did.
Yeah, still pretty pissed off about that, but what can you do? Um, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, what?
I'm trying to think.
Trying to think of what?
Oh, what I was gonna say. I had a pretty bad day yesterday. I was crying a lot because Penny Marshall died, and I was a huge Penny Marshall fan.
Who is Penny Marshall?
She was on Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah, she directed Big. She was the first woman to direct a film that like grossed. I don't know. It was like over 10 million. I don't know. I don't remember what.
100 million.
I recognize her from Laverne and Shirley. I had no idea about for directing big.
Yeah, it was $100 million. She also directed A League of Their Own and Awakenings and a couple others, The Preacher's Wife. And I actually got to interview her daughter a year ago. And
Her daughter? Who's her daughter? Is she an actress too?
Yeah, she's been in her movies and she's been in her father's movies. Her daughter Tracy Reiner. I found her on Facebook and asked her to do an interview, and she did it because she was in A League of Their Own, and she's like the president of the Women's Baseball Association or something.
So she did the movie for her daughter because her daughter was a baseball fan.
Penny was a softball player when she was young, and it's more her thing. And Tracy actually was not a sports fan, but she actually fell into it because of the movie.
I see.
Yeah.
So she got into it because of the movie, but what role did she play? Like she obviously got really into it because she now directs a league, you said, right?
Yes. She played Betty Spaghetti in the movie. She loses her husband. Her husband dies in the war. She has a very...
I think I remember her. She was the blonde.
No.
No?
No. She's dark-haired.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up.
Yeah. Yeah,
I will look it up. You know, League of Their Own was one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that movie. It's so great.
Growing up, it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a pretty sad day for me, but I'm better today. And one of the Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th movies, he died today, and I got to meet him back in June, and I'm so glad I got to meet him.
Jason Voorhees? I feel like I need to look up all these people.
Friday the 13th movies, The Hockey Mask,
Mm-hmm.
The Killer. Yeah, he was the second one, but he actually didn't get to wear the hockey mask. He actually wore a sheet over his head. He looked like a Klansman.
Wait, I don't understand. So, why didn't he get to wear the mask?
Because they hadn't thought of that yet. They hadn't thought about the hockey mask yet. Not until part 3.
Friday the 13th. I don't. For the second movie, there's no mask.
No. Part 1, Jason's mother is the killer in part 1. In part 2, Jason's the killer, and he wears a sheet over his head. A potato sack, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then in part 3, Jason gets to wear the hockey mask. And how he got to wear the hockey mask was because one of his victims had worn it early in the movie. And so that was his trademark for the rest of the series, was the hockey mask.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that whole thing up again because I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite of the series. And I just auditioned for a movie that's going to be a homage to the Friday the 13th movies, and many people that were in the movies are going to be in it. Deborah Voorhees, whose name is ironically Voorhees, she was in part 5. She's directing this movie that pays homage to the series, and I auditioned for it, and hopefully I'm gonna get a part in it. If not, I'm gonna get a special thanks in the credits because I donated to their Indiegogo.
Money?
Yeah, Indiegogo campaign.
Got it. How much did you donate for that, or is that a secret as far as...
About $10.
Okay. That was a generous donation.
Yeah,
Right.
that was all I can afford. Yeah, I donate to Indiegogo movies whenever I can,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to be in this movie badly because I get to meet all of them that was in several of the series. That'd be so great.
I would say getting a part in the movie is way better than a $10 nod.
Definitely, but still, I get to be a part of it either way,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
and I'm really grateful to that. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, Christmas has always been my favorite holiday, and love, I just love, drinking eggnog and Christmas candy and stuff. I got dots tonight, Christmas dots. You know those gummy candies?
Christmas dots. No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Tootsie Roll dots. They have them at Christmas time. They're cherry, lime, and vanilla flavored, and they're really really good. Because when you get the regular ones, they're just tropical flavored.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a box of those. They're so good.
Yeah, I'm not sure I know what that is.
If you saw them, you'd know because they get them at Halloween time too.
I know the orange, like, candies that are, like, I don't know. Is it the same thing?
No, they don't have orange.
Oh, never mind.
I got some Hershey candy canes. Oh, I love those.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little tree in the house that's like table length tree. It's got lights on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was thinking the other day, oh my god, the post offices and the notary stores, they got to be just the most stressed out and the hardest professions during the holidays because
I'm sure they are.
yeah, I mean, there's boxes and piles of letters, and there's guys just, going all around the world delivering them. I mean, it's just got to be fucking insane. And the funny thing is, when I was homeless in 2014, I tried to get a job, several jobs in notary stuff. I'm glad I didn't get them.
Mm-hmm.
I was so desperate that year. I tried to work in a lot of shit that I wasn't qualified for, but I just needed a job badly that year.
Mm-hmm. What did you end up doing?
I worked as a security guard, um, at Menlo College. That was a fucking great job. For about 8 weeks, it was great, and then when the kids came back, it got really really bad because they're just entitled douchebags, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I got removed from campus because I got into a screaming match with this girl who was hella stuck up and she wouldn't do as I told her. I was trying to do my job saying, you can't be at the gym, past 9 o'clock. And she's like, oh, fucking yes, I can. And I'm like, no, you fucking can't. And so they removed me from site. That really sucked because fucking I was getting late a lot, like after hours of the job, because I worked from like 4 p.m. to midnight, and then like certain teachers, certain students, they'd say, "Hey, come into our dorm and shit, and let's party," and I partied with them. It was a great for that, but then it just got really unpleasant, and so then they put me at the ballpark during the World Series. That was cool. that was actually a lot less stressing than I thought it was going to be, and I worked whenever I could. I didn't have a fixed schedule. I could work anytime I could, and I worked whenever I had money to get up to the city to go, which was maybe 2 times a week during those last 6 or 7 weeks that it was going on. There was one week where they were away, but for the most part they were at home during those 6 or 7 weeks, and it was good.
Mhm.
And the day that the security company told me that Menlo College was removing me from campus, I I came up with a game plan. Okay, I'm going to take this job, and in the meantime, I'm going to find a retail store to work at for the holidays, and I'm going to be a prop handler for Broadway by the Bay's next production because that's what I had wanted to do for like a year, but I was never in a position where I could do it, and they paid $400. So I called my
How
mom
did
up.
that work out?
Well, it did work out. Well, let me tell you. So I called my mom up and I told her that's what I was going to do, and she's like, "Great plan, and let's use that money to get an apartment, put down a deposit." And I was like, "Okay." So working at the ballpark, American Cost Plus hires me. I start working for them 2 days after the last World Series game, which was on a Sunday, and then Monday I turned in my shit, and then I started Cost Plus on Tuesday morning. And
Mhm.
I was doing props for about 3 weeks, and then on opening night, they let me go because this girl that I was doing props with, she was an absolute psycho. Her and I slept together the night before, and then I know in my heart of hearts she talked shit about me because I found out a year later she did it to somebody else. Apparently, while I was in the hospital, she started hanging out in bars, and people I know knew her,
Mhm.
and she did similar things. And they said that she's been in the loony bin and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I believe it because she was hella weird that night that we spent the night together. But at least I got paid. I got paid the $400, and I got to do that. And I did Cost Plus and all the way until Christmas Eve, and then I was done.
Mhm.
And then I filed for unemployment. I got it. I got my first check the day after my accident, but I never got to cash it or spend it. And yeah, those were my last jobs.
And nothing since.
Nothing since. Well, I can't work again because I can't do physical shit.
Mhm.
But it's it is what it is. But I've had an amazing journey, and it's going great. It's just going great.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one.
And I spent a couple of years going to Narcotics Anonymous meetings so I can get free Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. And I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Wait, you used to go to Narcotics Anonymous meetings just for free food?
Yeah, because in earlier in 2014, when I was staying at that Daly City house, um, I would stay at my friend Matt's hotel. My friend Matt was homeless, and I was staying in a hotel with him in San Carlos, and he had to go to these mandatory Narcotics Anonymous meetings. And so I started going there on Thanksgiving and Christmas because I couldn't get a meal anywhere, and they hooked you up. They gave you prime rib, ham, turkey, and just everything. And so I started going there for the holidays. I'm glad I don't have to do it anymore though because I'd rather be in my own home.
Got it.
Because in those group homes, they didn't make any turkey or nothing because everybody went home to their families. in there, you know. My mom was up here, or she was in Livermore, and she didn't have the strength to come down or the money to come down,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. So I had to go by myself.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you hear that? The buzzing noise?
No, what happened?
Oh, nothing. My dog is snoring lightly, and I thought you might hear it.
Oh, no. Today was the first day that there hasn't been rain in like, I don't know, 6 days over here.
Oh, it's good. We need the rain. I know it's not so much fun when we're experiencing it, but after all those fires we've had and the drought and like everything that's going on, like rain is so welcome right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
That reminds me, are you still seeing that guy?
I am still seeing that guy.
How's it going?
We are still going. We are, I guess you could say, going strong.
The sex is great.
Texas is pretty
Oh, that's awesome.
good. Mm-hmm.
I hope he's going to be the one for you.
I certainly hope so myself. I mean, we'll see. We have a lot, yeah, to work through and figure out, but I think we're on the right track.
hmm I'm just glad I'm not the way I used to be. Always craving sexual attention in every direction. I'm glad that I just focus on creating art now.
Mm-hmm. Why is that? What were you doing before that was so terrible?
I wouldn't say it was now terrible, but it kept me from being responsible, like, when it came to, like, making money and stuff. And just, expanding my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you get to a certain age, and as you mature and get older and stuff, that just stuff like that, like, just it changes you and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I was talking to a friend the other day on the podcast about we were talking about women's rights, and
Mm-hmm.
one th- and we were on a roll talking about stuff. There's one thing I forgot to mention to her, and I wonder how she would have responded if I had said it. I have a theory. I think that all men have at least 1% of misogyny in them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's embedded in our DNA. And
They can't help it. They were bored with penises. I mean, even when they're aware of it, there's just like so much that they can't even begin to imagine to understand.
yeah, I mean, misogyny has many different definitions, and you've seen me with women, I'm an absolute gentleman and I respect women, but
Sometimes, most of the time.
how? How is it half the time?
I didn't say half the time. I said most of the time.
Okay, how is it most of the time?
I mean, you like to be crude. It's part of your comedian persona. Like
Yes,
definitely
yes.
definitely have that going on, and that's, I guess it depends on the perspective person and it's directed towards and how it's intercepted, but I did most of the time. I was being supportive.
Yes, is exactly right. But if I have any misogyny in me whatsoever, it's predicated on the fact I love pornography and I love good-looking naked women. And in this case, you know, that misogyny is sexual objectification, as it's defined. That's the only misogyny I have in me. Other than that, I think women are awesome. They can do anything. They can do things better than men. Absolutely, you know, and they are extremely intelligent and they are so very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it really upsets me when I see them, being mistreated the way that they are. And I talked about this with somebody. I may have even talked about it with you. I don't remember. I think the reason why I have so many girlfriends that I'm friends with is because they can relate to the fact that I'm different and they know what it's like to be different and they know what it's like to be treated badly like I know what it's like to be treated badly. I think that's why girls gravitate toward me.
Mm-hmm. It's a possibility, a strong possibility.
hmm And I told her, I said, I support women's rights, but I don't support the Me Too movement. I did in the beginning, and then when I saw a lot of shady shit that was going on, then I just stopped paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I understand that you are acknowledging that there's shady shit that happens, but it's like I don't know. I guess I'm bringing up a different can of worms by comparing it to like Black Lives Matter because
Hmm.
so many people will grossly generalize like the actions of very few people to like discredit an entire organization
hmm
and or an entire cause or an entire whatever the fuck it may be and like I don't know. I guess that's exactly where I'm going with it. Like the gross generalization of stuff like that, isn't really fair because it's really about like what the heart is behind something.
Right.
Um, and I don't know. I guess there's a lot about the Me Too movement that like some people have complained that it only represents like white feminists or one person's side of the story or whatever the hell it may be. But I think like in general the idea behind it is what we should look at it and what it's unveiled is what we should look at and not that a couple of people who have hashtag Me Too are like fucking assholes and are like arrogant and are only thinking about their perspective of Me Too versus really like accepting everybody's like story for whatever it may be.
Yeah, I told her. I said these women who are doing this, and this goes for anybody who's an activist, really. They come off like angry mothers at a PTA meeting. They think they can change guys like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby and all these guys who did this disgusting shit, right? You cannot change a sociopathic predator. You know, you can't change these guys.
No, but you can put them on a spotlight, whereas like
Yeah,
maybe in their ideal world they can like fly under the radar because it's been this way for so long and the system and whatever they have gotten through before or gone through before other than what is kosher and other than what is right. And, women along the way have been discredited.
Right.
So no, it's not meant to teach one stupid boy that he's or expect that one stupid boy will change because of all this. That one stupid boy, of course, is going to become defensive, but over time, when you unveil this general societal bad behavior, the idea is that moving forward, they'll understand that this is actually bad behavior, and just because it's normal doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah. And also too, I mean, you gotta before you put somebody in a position of power, you gotta check their background and find out if they have a history of doing anything crime related. Anything. I mean, if
no. I think that's actually a poor supporting statement, because the whole point about the Me Too movement is that it's so normal for women to be victimized that it happens in so many gray areas, and it doesn't necessarily equate to a conviction. And then there's also times when there are black and white incidences of assault and rape, and even then it doesn't equate to a conviction, because the criminal justice system is set up in such a way to protect the offenders in many instances. And when you're talking about a white privileged boy, for example, a young man who's in college, it's so easy to chalk it up as hearsay or he said, she said. So these people kind of fly under the oops, we got too drunk, oops, I took advantage of her when she was unconscious, but you can't call that rape.
Mm-hmm.
So criminal background checks in those instances aren't going to do shit. I think that's what this whole movement's about. It's just for people to wake the fuck up and realize it happens all the time, and it's not always that easy to identify. And by all the women who come out, statistically speaking, you could say 1 in 3 women have been raped, but when you go into this gray area, it's almost 100% or 99% of women have been questionably victimized in a sexual capacity at some point in their life. So
right.
It's just bringing awareness to this. It's not about background checks and seeing who has a criminal conviction.
Right. And it's just...
Did I just jump down your throat right now?
You gave me a lot there, but I'm trying, yeah, I mean, the first, 3 months that the Me Too movement was launched, I was supportive of it. I started seeing signs of it with the first couple of weeks. I started seeing some questionable shit, Louis C.K. jacking off in front of women, was the first one. But then when that one comedian got busted because he went on a date with this girl, she gave him a blowjob and then regretted it the next day, and then said that he forced her into it. That's when they lost my support. When that happened.
You're talking about exactly what I said. You're grossly generalizing based on a single incident that you cannot stand behind. You're like, oh, these people have a point here, and then one person, in your opinion, I'm not going to say that this woman was right or wrong, or even try to give my opinion on it. But the fact that you're saying
Well, that was one of them. And then Dustin Hoffman asked his assistant for a foot massage back in the 70s, and there's no other indication that he's ever done it since, you know? And then there's others I can't even think of right now, but then that's when I just said, okay, I'm done with this Me Too movement, you know? One good thing did come out of this though. Those during those first few months that it was launched, I had a lot of female guests on the show, and some of them I didn't even ask what their opinion was about the Me Too movement or asked to tell their stories. They told me their stories on this podcast, and I was just so flattered by the fact that they trusted me to like tell me, and they named names of guys that sexually harassed them on movie sets and stuff, and really shocking stuff that I could not believe. And I just felt so great about that. But then, several months after it had gone by and everything, and I had checked out of it, just as a curiosity, I asked a few people on the podcast who I had already interviewed long before the Me Too movement started, and they said, I don't want to talk about all that crap because that happened, to me 30 years ago, and I'm over it. I just don't want to bring it up because I just think that this whole Me Too movement is unnecessary. And I was like, okay, good enough for me.
Yeah.
But the key word here is subjective. Subjectivity is another thing that plays a key role here. Just because, there's this group of women here that are offended by something doesn't mean this group of women over here are offended by it. The only thing that they're offended by is that these women are making a big deal out of it.
Yeah. Well, again, it comes to like one person feels a certain way, you can't blanket everyone else because they both have vaginas or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But that's why we stick to the 99% estimations rather than saying all women.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Do you have any changing the subject and going back to Christmas, do you have any Christmas decorations at your house?
Very few. So I wanted a tree this year. We have still the same mini tree that we've had for the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dog's Christmas tree.
Yeah.
About 18 inches high. Maybe a little bit taller with the eagle on top.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's a very so. Yeah. Outside of that, no.
Yeah, I know you moved, but do you still live with K-Run?
Oh, I haven't lived with him since 2012.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm way off.
It's been a way long time. We actually just moved to Chicago.
Oh, he did?
Uh-huh.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, I want to go. I want to go to Chicago someday soon. My grandfather is from there.
See, I have a lot of family there, so I'm gonna make a trip out and say hey to family and say hey to him too.
They got this.
But I do need to let you go. I really think it's been a great time catching up with you. It's good, bad, and ugly. But yeah.
I think we did pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
And
We have a pretty good spectrum.
yeah, we had a pretty good session, and we'll do it again soon. And You know,
Sounds like a plan.
and I hope you have a Merry Christmas, hun, and
No.
get some rest tonight because you worked hard today.
Mm-hmm. I tried to.
All right, hun. Love you.
Right. Love you too. Take care.
Okay. Bye bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Ana Marie Urbieta. Ain't she a sweetheart? Wow, Anna, we got pretty heavy into women's rights. But hey, it was a great conversation. It was a good change of pace for us. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Add me as a friend on Facebook. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.